Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Titus Valspar, and today I wanted to go over a topic that's been a little bit talked up in the community recently, and that is She-Hulk. So She-Hulk has recently, as in recently a couple of months ago, been buffed and is now far more useful than she's ever been in the history of the game, with a bunch of new abilities that she just didn't have access to previously. But most recently, she's been the talk based off of the unequivocal nerf, if you will, to her heavy attack counters. Now, I personally hadn't really used that tactic with She-Hulk to help bolster her usability, but I'm here to ask the question: is she really that bad after having this change made? And one thing that I think that we are forgetting is that we've seen this type of change happen previously with Gwenpool's heavy attack. Now, Gwenpool, for quite a while after she was initially announced, had this chance on her heavy attacks to not only apply a bleed, but also refresh the bleeds that the opponent already has, making the bleeds longer and dealing more damage, as well as a chance to stun her opponents based off of each bleed that they possess. And that's just a kind of a broken mechanic that Gwenpool had back at the time. That's been patched out. She still has her ability to lengthen bleeds, but she can't necessarily chain stun her opponents into the wall because she can't trigger bleeds off of her heavy attacks the same way that she used to be able to, or the same way that she does on all of her regular attacks. But I feel like that's something similar to what we've seen with She-Hulk, that she's still a very useful character. And I do want to just briefly showcase a matchup against Labyrinth of Legends RHulk, just to showcase this point, because she's not as bad as you're making her out to be. Now, with this particular setup, I do have my She-Hulk at rank 4, and I have her on a synergy team where she not only gains more duration off of her passive fury attacks with Daredevil, but I've also brought along some other synergies in the likes of Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage, as they have a lot of fury to get She-Hulk up above the enraged timer here within the Labyrinth. And I have cleared 2 different paths in Labyrinth. There's about 5 more that I need to go through and do. But I just wanted to showcase briefly that even though she's had this change that some people are claiming are game-breaking for the character, she's still quite powerful and quite potent and useful when used correctly. And I do just want to take a moment to show what she can do, despite this change to her heavy attack. Now I'm going to get punched in the face there by RHulk, but that's alright. And now we're going to start rinsing and repeating our heavy attack, or our special ones, to build up our furies, as they will cause RHulk to be more liberal in throwing his special attacks. So she still has a very nice amount of damage that she deals. And she's still a ramp-up character, but that was always her intent. And I've actually done some work with She-Hulk as well in the Realm of Legends, and she's actually quite a viable character for a Realm of Legends clear, minus the disadvantage that she has against Black Panther and Winter Soldier, because her Furies will not refresh as they do in this matchup due to the class disadvantage and the mechanic matchup that she has there. But other than that, she's still very, very useful and a very potent character. And you'll see here that she's getting some massive crits on these just these medium and light attacks and only having 4 Furies. Or 14 Furies, I should say. $10K, $11K. Now, that being said, I don't think that I enjoy She-Hulk enough to warrant getting her up to rank 5 as a 5-star. But I'm certainly happy having her at a 4-star. Or a rank 4. And I do not have any intentions of using my rank down tickets on her. Another thing that we still need to keep in mind is she is still one of, if not the most effective counters to characters that have Unstoppable, making her an incredibly valuable and viable option against the likes of the champion in Act 6. Or I guess I should say No, it is Act 6, isn't it? I haven't done that particular chapter of the story quest, mainly because with She-Hulk as rework, I really wanted to make sure that I could have a sufficient amount of practice in, and the champion class requirements have made it a little bit difficult for me. Because my main heavy hitter that I would use would be my Ghost, however, I don't have a Wasp and a 5 or a 6-star to gain the benefit of having unblockable special attacks. But as you can see here, RHulk is dropping relatively quickly for a 4-star character, despite that change. Like, it's such a niche portion of her kit that I really don't think that it's as big as an impact as some would have you believe. Now, does it suck if that was the way that you that you kind of came accustomed to using the character? Now you've kind of got to relearn it? Of course. I mean, that's just kind of a given. But it's the same thing with any type of change to a character. I mean, if you are accustomed to using, or if you had grown accustomed to using Colossus or Old Man Logan before they had anything reworked or revamped, then you're just going to have to get used to that as well. It's no different from any other character or any other rework that we've seen. That was a 12K special, and that was without a crit. Because that's the power of these Furies that she has. So again, she's still incredibly, incredibly useful, despite not having her this heavy mechanic. See, we just did about 100k damage right there, just off of a regular 5 combo, with the different crits that we had. We're up to 44 Furies, and we've got enough of them that we really don't need to worry about refreshing them. We've got RHulk. We can probably get him down to around 20. We might even be able to get him into Assassin's range before he goes into his range, and yep, that's where we're at. Right as the enrage timer starts to tick over. Now, I messed up a little bit there, but we're still up to 50 plus Furies. And that was a 50k special too. Again, we're in Assassin's range now, so that's certainly helping with it. Or special 1. 50k off of the special 1 just there. And right there, 30k special, or medium tack to finish out the fight. And that was, you know, a 6 or 7 minute fight is all. And yeah, 300 hits, so not the quickest fight, but still incredibly viable. And you'll notice that I did not use, or did not need to use, any of her heavy attacks in order to stay that viable. So again, I think the real conversation that we should be having around She-Hulk is, was that adjustment necessary for the balance of the character? And in my opinion, as much as it's terrible that that's something that's taken place, I think it was the right move. I honestly do. Because it allows her to be a more fair character to use, and not making the game unplayable. And that 15% extra potency that she gets with this Daredevil synergy, it's really worth quite a bit in terms of keeping her viable. Now, she's still going to have her hard matchups against anyone in the skill class, but hey, no character in this game is meant to have absolute advantage against anyone that they would go up against. I mean, even Aegon has his matchups where he's just not as viable as we'd like him to be. Of course, he's... I'd love to have my hands on him to actually make some content in that regard, but until then, I'll continue to work with what I've got, and She-Hulk will remain at her rank 4 level. She's incredibly useful for questing and other areas of gameplay. But do let me know what you think, and again, if you haven't taken the time to check out my primary channel, I do daily uploads over there. It's Pseudo Gameplay TV. I'll leave that link in the description again, so you can be sure to go over and check that one out. A lot of help and support would really be appreciated over there, as I'm doing a ton of really fun content and with some very special projects in the work. I'll keep doing some weekly uploads here, but thanks again for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Take care.